Yo, what's up, guys? Damnation-n-Hellfire here, of course, as always, and I got Ross Crow and I got Doomsday Rebel with me. What's going on, guys?
Good evening, Eric.
Same old, same old.
So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to hit a 95 with my Razor Tails, just so everybody can see how I'm doing these. I'm doing these solo. I'm not co-oping. This will be the third one, I believe, I've done without repairing. Mainly the reason I'm doing this is I have a little bit of time left on my Grease Monkey, so I want to get the most out of it that I can.
And then you notice that these seem to be pretty good for points for damage, correct? I mean,
you get 4.5 million points if you solo it. And like I'm using a Grease Monkey, so like the first two I get roughly about 58 minutes repair on. But then by the time I do the third and the fourth one, what was I getting? Like 37 minutes, I think, because that extra defense starts to kick in.
Yeah, that drops each time.
So I come the whole way up around first because you want to take this mega out at the top because it teleports boats in, and if you leave it there for a while, it's gonna just keep adding more and more and more boats to the target. So the first thing you got to do is kind of come down, take the weapon turrets out that are on it, and then it'll allow you to target the middle there. Target, damn you! Thank you. Yeah, because the first time I did this, I didn't know the mega ported boats in. And I'm like, my God, there's an awful lot of boats in this target. And then I was like, oh, that's because it keeps bringing in more. That makes a little more sense now. And then I just go down and start taking the packs out one by one. You guys can feel free to chime in with anything you want to say here. That way we're not having like weird silences.
Okay, so when you were taking out that mega, I wanted to point out, I noticed that you're choosing to target that mega hull there and avoid and just forget about the incoming attacking fleet until you get that mega killed. You're choosing to take the damage from the ships.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. So don't just get up next to it and let it auto itself, because you'll be targeting the ships still.
Right.
Right. And RB's asking if you've tried this with bats.
I haven't, but other people said don't do this with bats because it doesn't work very well.
Okay. Very good.
Kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, I know Snoopy said he tried it with bats and died, and then he proceeded to scrap his bats after that. Which is kind of funny because he's like, oh, I'm going to repair my bats and then scrap them. I'm like, why are you repairing them first? He's like, don't you have to? I'm like, no, you haven't had to do that for a long time.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, I remember back in the day when you had to repair stuff before you would scrap it. But yeah, you don't have to do that anymore.
I don't even remember that.
It's been that way for a little while now.
My bat rays are not the fleet from Kicks Eye. My built fleet is really underperforming, in my opinion. It's so yeah, I'm not happy with its performance either, and it's my build.
All right.
it has all that the limited armor, the even the 1 second repair, the full shit or the lead at least.
That was my third 95 I'd done with this fleet. I probably could maybe even squeeze one more out of it, but I only got 2 minutes and 57 seconds left on my grease monkey, so I want to get this fleet docked and start repairing before that shit runs out. Get in there, boys. Get in there.
Right.
I mean, that's one way you can get points. If you have razors, you can go in and actually just solo that thing and get 4.5 million points with a grease monkey. Like I said, I think the first two I usually take like an hour on. It seemed like that one I even took an hour on the third one. I'm not sure exactly what happened there, but it might have just been I was taking a little bit more damage than normal. But yeah, the key is definitely try to kill that mega as fast as you can. Otherwise, it's going to bring in boat after boat after boat after boat. No, don't even give me a lockup when I'm trying to get in here to repair this shit before my grease monkey runs out. So start repair. There we go. All right. So hey, guess what? There's a raid going on, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How are you guys doing at this point?
I'm doing okay. Well, just doing okay in my opinion. I'm at 45 million, and I just don't the points I don't think I'm going after this time are extremely high. I'm just going to be going for probably just the new items only, and so I guess at the pace I'm at, I could continue, but I don't have any pattern myself. As in all honesty, my fleet's taking so much damage. I chose just to the blitz just because I took more damage than the blitz offer, and that's the truth. And I have I'm not I do not profess to be a great driver at all, but I do have a great fleet, and so I would think that there'd be a medium with my horrible driving and my great fleet that would be somewhere in the range where I'd like, and we're not there yet, but I have seen a thing that I believe that targets might be lessened, or the damage might be lightened in the top end and then increased in the bottom tier targets. So
yeah, that was really weird the way that went down, because that got announced probably at around 2:00, but it didn't actually happen until like 5:45. So everybody's like, "Where is this decrease you were talking about?"
okay, so has the decrease already in game?
From what I understand, 5:45 Eastern time is when it went live. So that means, you got to wait for any old targets to reap through. But I mean, I would think all the old targets are gone by now, and the new one should be live. So you should be seeing that damage reduction at this point. I don't know. I haven't tried any of them since then.
It seemed like the damage increase went live faster on the smaller targets because people were complaining about it like 2:00 or.
Well, yeah, they did do the increase on the lower targets because they said they were easier than they had anticipated. And I'll be honest, a lot of people are like, "Oh, well, that's a crappy move. That's crappy." Well, I mean, but the flip side is, like, literally everybody got given a free fleet of bat rays. So, I mean, lots of people who didn't even have bat rays are now able to go in and do some of these other targets. So I can understand a little bit increase in the difficulty level. Like, I don't know for sure how much it was, so I can't speak to that.
I heard different stories. Some people saying they went from 6 minutes to 3 hours and 45 minutes, and then from 10 to an hour and a half. So some people said 40 minutes. I'm sure it's all in your driving, but you know, still,
Yeah.
I know everybody got a free fleet, but the bat rays just seem to be underperforming all around now. And the targets are just by the end of this raid cycle, I thought, you know, there would be something that showed that, hey, all the effort and time of building these and refitting them was, you know, was worth it. But they've just progressively got worse because the damage progressively got higher. So there was no real benefit from them. It was just kind of maintaining.
Well, that almost seems true of both fleets, honestly.
Yeah.
Because I know
All the targets.
the 108, I before they did the decreases, and like I said, I haven't seen it since they supposedly did that, but it was just eating my fleet alive. Like anybody who watched my stream this morning saw me get insta-gibbed and the 108 at the very end of it, because I'm like, oh, I've done it, and I still got 3/4 of my fleet left. I was feeling pretty confident. I started talking to people in the YouTube chat instead of really paying close attention to what I was doing, and I glanced away for a minute and I looked back and my fleet was freaking dead. And I'm like, what in the hell happened there? So,
you know, and I've just hit like a 104, a 106, and a 108, and I ended up with like 14 hours damage. And I'm still debating on if I'm going to go get coin or not. So it's just kind of, I thought it would be a little better than what it was.
well,
Like, I
I noticed
appreciate the free fleet and everything. Don't get me wrong. That was, you know, went above what I expected, but still at the same time, if you got to crank up the damage because of a mistake, it kind of hurts a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I noticed they did end up making now the 104 and 106 are like their own little set. So you can do those for 2.5 million points each, and then you get a 2.5 million completion bonus for doing that set as well.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's something people can look at. If they're taking significantly less damage in those targets, they can do the set, still get a completion bonus. You know, it's not quite as much as for the top tier set, but if you're taking less damage doing that set, then you're probably better off anyway.
Yeah. I was just hoping to catch up a little bit with this one, but you know, I could probably grind out the new hull and the weapon and specials probably for free, but it would take all 6 days, I'd imagine. You know, just with the amount of time that I will have to play. But you know, like I said, I got 10 million for 14 hours, so I mean it's doable. It just doesn't give a lot of room for anything else.
No, like a life.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I suppose you have the life during that 14 hours while you're repairing. So
Yeah. So I mean, I'll be out on that. So, but the flip side is, do I grind the very baby targets now, and not have a life to get
right.
some things that I needed? But whatever, it is what it is. I'm not gonna fret about it.
So we're on it this week. Ross had sent me some preliminary slides, but I never had time to go back and beauty them up and whatnot because, you know, working on my raid and doing real life stuff. So we're on it with forums this week. Sorry guys, we'll be back to regular slides next week, but this is what we got. So obviously the raid started today, you know, so you got the tier 8 sets, you got the co-op one, which I still haven't had a chance to try yet because there was a big problem with those spawning from beta world on. Like I spent an hour of my stream today between me, Shane, and RB looking for these damn things over the map because that's the one main thing I wanted to do on the stream so people could see what they were like, and they never spawned for the entire hour I was doing the stream, so we never got to look at them. But they do drop Gale Defense System shards and Coromant anti-torpedo shards in there. You got the tier 8 set, which is the 110 and the 108. I don't know. I don't think the 110 personally is too bad for me using Razor Tails. But yeah, the 108 I think is a little bit over the top. And then of course they're 2.5 million points each with a 5 million bonus. And then you got the tier 7 co-op. The one I just did at the beginning of the stream is the 95. You can do it as co-op, or obviously, as you saw, if you have Razor Tails, you can do it solo, and you get the set completion bonus of 1.5 million, and then the 3 million damage points is split between the two people, however much damage you do. Then your regular tier 7 stuff is the 80s. Tier 6 stuff, of course, is the 60s, and the tier 5 is just the level 41. And then they got the additional targets. Like I said, the 106 and 104 here have actually become a set combined, where you get 2.5 million per target, and then get a 2.5 million completion bonus for doing both of them. And then you got the blitz targets for the 89 and the 69. I thought it was interesting too that this time around you can actually blitz the tier 8 stuff. I thought that was kind of weird.
Well, but it doesn't count towards a set.
Right. Yeah, I just thought it was just weird in general that you could blitz the top target, whether it counted towards a set or not, because I don't think we've ever seen that before in a raid.
Right.
I think in the last event that we had, the Thanksgiving event or whatever, I think you could do that, but that wasn't really, like a raid format. Well, I mean, it was, but it wasn't. I guess we can talk about the all the new content at this point. Ross, do you want to go over the Eradicator?
Sure can. It's the new Siege Hull. They were going to release 2, but they decided to release the 1 this month, or 1 right now. And so, in my opinion, it's good for the community like this. So, it's a Siege, Tier 8, and it's going to be the first Tier 8 hull that we had here. And it's got a ballistic damage built in of 125%. Ballistic range, it seems a little lacking, in my opinion, at 45%, but we'll have to see when we build it there. The building damage is good, extremely high at 200%. So with the specials, that's just going to be really, really high. It has the structure deflection built in again, and 1,250. I can't say I like to see those, but that's there. Ballistic defense is 75%. Radioactive defense also 75%. It does have a 50% tactical field resistance. Combat speed of 30, turn back speed of 20, map speed 33. Now it does have a repair duration of 3 hours, weapon slots 6, armor slots 4, special slots 6.
And just to reiterate, that's 3 hours, not 33 hours.
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay.
Better in there a bit too. What it does have here, it has some frenzy special ability built in, and it just stacks. It looks like up to 4 times. So, and then it decays every 7 seconds. The field effect does for your friendly ships, ballistic, radioactive defense, both 50%. Combat speed and ballistic reload also 50% during that little frenzy.
So now, basically, frenzy is like bloodthirst, only shittier, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's like a half a bloodthirst, right?
Oh, it's the reason it's shittier is because you lose a stack every 7 seconds. I mean, so it's like that tells me that speed is going to be extremely important in this upcoming raid, as far as making sure you get the targets, being able to kill them quickly and efficiently. That way, you don't lose your stacks.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. And then, so it does also have, let's see, bonus effect for each Eradicator in the fleet. It's going to add the ballistic defense and the radioactive defense of 20% and ballistic damage of 25%. So it's, once again, it's going to have those stacking abilities that are really going to help also. The more
I'm sorry, go ahead.
But yeah, I mean, that's all.
I really wish they would start getting rid of these and just maybe incorporate more defense into the hull as overall, because that, like, you're really at a huge disadvantage then if you can't manage to get out a fair amount of them before an event starts.
No, I totally agree. And that's a really big point I would like to make, because I speak to many players that this is a huge issue for them. and they're up and coming players. They really want to grind. They want to do, but their fleet, where it used to perform well, if they didn't have a complete one, because they were just people that honestly are always a little. They don't have the complete fleets moving through every raid, but they still hang in there. And for years, I'd like to see some value in the 3 to even 4 ships they have built. Where before they used to perform better than I do they do now. You know, in a group, you're really penalized a great deal for missing a hull in the fleet, in my opinion.
I totally agree with that. And like the people who are like, you know, coining out their entire fleets or whatever, or, you know, saving up tokens, they're already getting the benefit of having the extra bonus firepower from having the additional hulls. Yeah, I would just like to see these aura cap things go away, and those like more defensive stats and like, you know, whatever stats you're going to put there, just incorporate them into the hull itself as opposed to auras.
Now, and if we can slide back up, though, you know, with these defense numbers, I do want to say we're going to be, whether it's positive or negative, you know, we're going to be right back in the spot where if a lead comes for this hull, these stat numbers are going to be, they're in the 90s. They're going to be pretty high, you know, so we're going to need that decimal point calculator again to actually tell what the difference is when adding specials.
You know, it's a good thing I like posted one of those on the page at some point, isn't it?
That's right.
Travis, you want to do the special on the weapon?
All right. Let's see. The welded barrel system. Of course, that's the tier 8 special for this. It'll give you critical chance, critical damage, and projectile speed. And also gives you a bonus combat speed. The ballistic critical damage goes up to 125%, so that's fairly decent. The chance is only 20%, but having the projectile speed is pretty good. And if I'm not mistaken, this one stacks with other projectile speed specials, at least a couple that I was playing with. So that's kind of helpful.
Yeah, I know when we're done going over all the raid content and everything, one of the things I want to do is start looking at some potential builds in game actually for the Eradicator, so we can look at that more detail at that point.
Yeah. And the Devastator cannon, man, that thing's heavy, but you know, the hull itself has limited weapon slots, so it's 1,900 tons, has 196 projectile speed. Decent accuracy. We have the range is at 50. It's got a pretty good damage, and the reload time is 4.8. So even with reload specials, can you get to 0.2 with that?
Not at legendary rank without reload specials. No, you can't.
Good. Good. I mean, we're at achievable numbers then, you know, in my opinion.
Okay. I honestly wish I could put this cannon on my breachers. I'm just saying.
Exactly. When I saw it, I was like, oh boy, this is gonna be a game changer. And then
that 75,600 damage number is pretty freaking impressive to me.
Yeah. And with a critical hit chance.
Yeah.
But then the siege kicks in.
No. It'll be impressive the first raid.
No.
Yeah.
And after that.
Ross, you want to do the High Guard Siren?
Sure can. This one's here, I think probably the last of the tier 7 leads for your Conquer Defenders. This one here, it's a Legion Defender. So it's got a bonus of corrosive range, 23.6%. Concussive range is 12.2%. It does have concussive reload and scattergun reload, both at 50%. Scattergun or splash at 25%. Concussive damage and corrosive damage, both at 75%.
Well, I tell you what, I think all the regular stats are the exact same as the regular siren, right? The only difference will be the special ability.
That's correct.
So
Yeah.
let's just go ahead and skip down to that, I guess, really.
All right. Well, what it's going to have is it's going to offer all your defender halls a 15% accuracy bonus, and I don't think there's a range on that. Excuse me. And then also a concussive and corrosive 40% reload, and so that's going to affect only the defender class halls. So those of you that use the conquer ships, that will not change. So that's it. It is what it is. I do think the ship's a little late coming out, but instead of being totally negative, I would like to point out that I believe there is a corrosive scope in game coming soon. I don't know when, and that could change some of these defender halls and complete the scopes. So it is what it is. I wish there was a tier 8 defender right now, but or at least tier 8, not a 7. But
I wish this one had. I wish it had a 10% range to your defender fleets, the same weapon type, because that way they couldn't be outranged.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah, I mean,
very appealing.
Me personally, this is one of those holes that if I don't get it, I'm not all stressed about it at all. If I do get it, if I have extra points, I'll get it just because who knows in the future what tier 8 holes they might have that are concussive and corrosive based, that having this as your flag could actually really potentially help them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the same reason I actually built the flag curator. I don't know that I'm not currently using it in my base, but for any ballistic defender holes they come out in the future with, it could really help them out. I don't know. I still honestly, I think it's hard to really find anything to replace the Omni, which gives the 35% damage buff to all your defender holes. Especially in the era that we're at right now, where overcoming deflection is like the key, So anything that gives you a plus 35% damage buff, I'm like, yes, please.
But let's be honest. Right now, also range is key.
Right.
And these are lacking.
Yeah. But I mean, range only makes a shit if you can get over the deflection numbers anyway.
Yes. Yep. So I mean, if you liked this original siren and you're using those, then and you have a base set up for that type of thing, that this is better. So this is better than that.
Yeah. Of course, then we finally get the long-awaited CTCO Plate 3. The last in the Tier 7 armor pieces, and it gives you the 21k against concussive and corrosive both, with, of course, you can only put one per hull with a 15-minute repair duration. So, yeah, it's about time this damn thing came out.
For sure.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, that's what we've all been waiting for. So.
Then in the CM notes, like the first thing he talks about is how in co-op the regular points get split amongst the damage that you did. We already talked about that. And then both players get a set bonus for doing it. Let's see, anything else that was really important in there? Not really. Well, then, of course, we got the prizes, the Eradicator for 60 million, the welded barrel system for 15, and the Devastator for 25. Then you can get a Proto Apollos, KD Shards, a Makara Manicore, regular Manicore. Greta Inferno Dragon, still freaking 35 million points, dude. This thing's been out almost a goddamn year now. And like the Makara, which was which was more recent than that, is still only 20 million, and they want 35 million for this damn thing. Like, stop pricing shit around the metagame, man. Seriously, stop. It should be time-based pricing. You know, it shouldn't be priced around the metagame. But anyway, you can get regular dragons for 10 million. Did they add that? Was that in there originally?
Not sure.
I don't know. Hellstar Shars, blah blah blah. Buccaneer Boom, Protocent, Blood Hydras, Buccaneers. You know, a bunch of the different hulls. Conquer hulls, Ifrit, Witch Doctors, Impact Cruisers, Revenants, Missile Storm Cruiser Onslaughts. Defense, of course, Warden, Curator, and Sirens, and the new one, of course, Skirmish. You can get Bat Ray, the Razor Tail, and their appropriate flags, which there again, their flags are only 20 million, but you want 35 million for the Greta. What the fuck? Get more shards. Let's see, CTOC Plate 3. I'm not gonna read all this crap. You know, it's on the forums. You can go check it out your own self if you want to. It was nice to see they did put more Hyper 30s in there. Of course, the price is ridiculous at 25 million points, but I was really surprised that they didn't have shielded circuitry in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't notice. I was wanting to say honestly, I think it's pretty impressive list. I didn't see that shielded circuitry was not there. I am pleased with the overall list of prizes for people that are wishing to get them.
Yeah. I mean, it's great that they have this much stuff in, but it's difficult to you know, go and cover everything in detail when they have this much stuff in the store.
Right.
You know, there's tactical focuses in there. Like, why you can only get one, I'm not sure. That's just stupid to me. Because, like, somebody like me, I think I only have 6 total, but we're allowed to have up to 15. Well, why the hell can I only get one? I mean, that's just dumb. But, you know, whatever. EMPs are back in there. Agility 4 is 4 million points. A little pricey in my opinion, but whatever. Oh, there was this one made me laugh. Like lockdown rockets, scrambler cannons, cryonic death charge, cryo battery. They want to charge 8 million points for all this stuff when they literally just got done nerfing it to hell and making it total shit. You know, it's like lockdown rockets was really good when it was 75% slowdown, but now it's nerfed down 25%, and you still want 8 million points for it? Come on. Sometimes I think when they make these prices up, they just like put a blindfold on and throw darts at the dartboard for some of this stuff. I don't know. Anything you guys thought was really cool that was in that I didn't mention?
You know, I think you've hitting on all the important ones. You got to have a weekly fleet. Let's be honest. So the dragons are your top weekly fleet at this time. So you're going to want you to concentrate on those. You can get all your fleets that you're going to need to do. Resources are available in this event. So, I mean, if your game was lacking in an area, you can really concentrate on that and get that taken care of in this event.
That's very true. Of course, we got bunches of tokens, Fangtooth tokens, Hunter tokens, Phantom Fangtooth tokens, which is kind of funny. The Fangtooth and the Phantom, I have 99 out of 99 on both of those. So I'm like, yeah, I don't even have to look at those. Apex Hunters, Bat Ray build tokens, Razor build tokens, Buccaneer build tokens, Hydra build tokens, Cannoneer build tokens, Ironclad build tokens, Buccaneer build tokens, which is, you know, kind of like, why now? Why at this point when we're getting ready to like get the new, when we have the new Siege Hull right now? But I mean, I guess this can still come in handy for people who might not get enough points to get the new hull and still haven't built their Buccaneer flag yet. Shane actually might be able to use those, maybe, possibly, because he's never got around to building his flag for his Buccaneer yet, so he can still use that to farm base parts, maybe. I don't know. Probably the most interesting ones is they actually did include Brennus Bat Ray build tokens and Occam Razortail build tokens. I was really happy to see them. Because I know last time I complained that they didn't have those, and if you needed to do refits on the fly, you couldn't even touch your flagship, or you would like be down for like, a day of the raid if you were trying to refit something on it. So I was glad to see they added those in there this time. Of course, base parts, titanium, blah, 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 blah. Once again, they have added oil, energy, metal, and zithium, just your regular resources in that you can claim up to 10 times at 500,000 a pop, and you get 80 million of each individual resource. Which, is not the ultimate answer I want to see to the resource starvation that we're going through, but it is nice to see that you can actually get that stuff there.
Yes.
Let's see. They're talked about there about the 104 and 106 becoming their own set, which I already covered, and the damage changes, which I already covered as well. Do we want to talk about Eradicator builds a little bit?
Sure. Check it out.
Oh, how unfortunate. Tracy Lords isn't over in my recommended search thing. Bastards. Does anybody else been having a problem with their game loading? Like you'll just get stuck in the loop of the screen, and sometimes you got to refresh and try again.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good to know. I'm not the only person that's happening to.
It's quite often, actually. Yeah. And it doesn't seem to be linked to the internet speeds or connection. It's just random. So, because once I hit refresh, the second time through, it goes right in.
So, Siege Hole, where are you at, buddy? There you are. It was easier when I didn't have it because I knew exactly where it was. It was down the red shit. So obviously, let's start with weapons. Obviously, we're gonna want to put the new cannon on there. Cannon. And there it is. Now, I know they put out the Siege raid briefing thing, but have you seen to where it said whether any of the shit could be countermeasured or not?
No.
Because from what I saw and what I read, it did not look like countermeasuring was really an option at this point from the way they described them, but I haven't had time to follow up on that and ask if any of it could be.
I would agree with that statement in all honesty. I do not believe that I believe that possibly maybe that new missile, the limited one, but I don't see anything else being used.
So just for the sake of our experimentation right here, we're just going to fill it all out with regular weapon slots. I don't know. As far as engine, what do you guys think?
I think I'd go with the resistor, right? I mean, just the regular resistor.
The ballistic one, you mean?
Yeah.
Would you go? I mean, do you want radioactive or do you want ballistic?
Well, you'd want either or. Let's go radioactive, maybe.
Okay, we'll go radioactive. Special wise we know that this target does ballistic and radioactive, so obviously you're probably going to want to be looking at MC3. No, is that what it is? MC3? No, CL3. My bad.
Yeah, correct. And then what we were thinking, the new special, right? I mean,
the welded barrel thing. Honestly, I'm not 100% sold on this guy yet.
Okay, then what are we thinking? Nuclear accelerators?
Well, let's see. Yeah, you definitely want to go with Nuke Accelerator 1 for your range increaser, in my opinion.
I would agree. That's why I was trying to throw in the Gibbons.
Now, of course, we know we're going to be fighting mainly against turrets and buildings and stuff. So you're definitely want to go one siege battery.
Right.
Now here's something that I found interesting. If in addition with siege battery, you use siege targeting.
Okay.
Look at your building damage, dude. 1,431.5% damage increase for against buildings. And in these targets, pretty much the only thing you're fighting is buildings and turrets, you know?
Yeah, I agree. That's huge. So,
but then I guess we gotta have something on here for reload.
okay, well,
so I'm thinking almost maybe drum reloaders. I don't know.
What about? Yeah, you could put that or an auto loader, right? Both.
You can do auto loader, but I'm almost leaning more towards drum reloaders. It has less reload, obviously, but you do get the 36% extra ballistic damage. Okay. Cuttlefish, no, I do. I never have recommended lowered cannon mount ever, because the short range turrets that they have in there, you're probably going to have to face plan up to damage them. So I don't recommend lowered cannon mounts. I like to try to stay at ranges against anything that I can. Now, so I mean, what are you thinking of this look, Travis? Do you like this? Do you not like this?
It's well, you're probably asking the wrong person, since I haven't seen the siege cycle, you know, the previous one. The only thing I saw is the little clip. Let's see, what's the speed? 63?
Yeah, see, that's the one thing that concerns me. I'm not sure that's fast enough.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of my only concern. Because watching that video, that thing looked kind of slow, didn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, that target's huge. And like I said, with the DK, it seems like speed and staying in combat and killing stuff is going to be important. I might actually be more willing to go with maybe strike system, because you will get more speed out of that. Plus, you'll get projectile speed as well of 60%. Yeah. And the projectile speed on this cannon is pretty damn slow, honestly. It's only 196.
Let's see. Does nuclear accelerator 2 not work?
It's more build time, and you don't get, and there's no splash involved with this, so you're not really getting any more bonus than what you are out of the one.
Gotcha. Wow, I just assumed there was splash.
No, there's no splash there whatsoever. I like drum reloaders for the reload and everything. Like, another thing I had potentially thought about, and that slot was maybe Hyper 30 for even more combat bonus speed, because that puts you up to 78 at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, it does take your ballistic damage and your reload down some, but then again, you got to factor in you're getting, like, you know, over 1,400% additional building damage.
Yeah, so if you could plan your stacks based on buildings first, then turrets, maybe.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that I'm not sure. I'm not really jacking with the armor at this point, because I'm sure we're going to get armor in the FM probably, which will end up being somewhat similar to the CTX or whatever it was. It'll be similar to this as far as build time and everything. I mean, I can use the other one, this guide, just to show you what your defenses will be at, but it'll throw the build time off, I think, from what we'll end up getting. So you can see your defenses right now without any auras and any of that stuff. You're at 95% on each one going this way.
Being just 95%, yeah, there's going to be an armor in the FM.
Mm-hmm. Which will probably come down to around where the CTX build time is. So let me slap that on there real quick to just give you a better estimation of your actual build time you'll probably be looking at. Again, I'm not saying put CTX armor on this. I'm just using this to probably show you what closer to the actual build time we're going to end up with. So it's like 13 days, 7 hours, 17 hours.
Okay, so we are saying that we're thinking that there's going to be another armor, right?
Yes, I'm pretty sure that the FM will have an armor. That seems to be the pattern they've fallen into. They give us the hull and the weapon and the special, and then the FM, they give us the armor.
Okay, so, there's going to be certain things when people get these hulls, there are going to be certain things we're going to want to put on them, and don't get carried away. And then I would say do not armor them.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you don't want to do that anyway because of ranking. What I always do, I go weapons, specials, rank, and then armor, or build a blank rank whenever it comes up, but I always usually go weapons and specials always before armor.
Yeah,
I would even go so far as to say maybe only put 5 weapons on because we should be seeing the target for the VXP weekend next week. So maybe only put 5 weapons on until you see whether countermeasures will be possible to be used in there. Maybe leave a weapon off until we get that information. Right. Things I'm sold for sure on, though, that I want is nuclear accelerators. For sure siege batteries, and I'm really leaning heavily towards siege targeting 4. Not knowing specifically if it's more damage heavy in one way or the other. CL3 is probably your best bet until we know more about that. Engine, I'm probably leaning towards strike system. I might even end up going with Magnus Drive because that's even faster. What's Magnus Drive give us? That puts us up to 79. What were we at before?
No.
I probably should have looked at that before I did this. Oh, where are you at? $79 compared to 78. Nah, actually, I'll probably stick with speed since I don't think that 1 mile an hour outweighs my projectile speed bonus.
Yeah, you need that projectile. So like if you're going to take off siege targeting, what would be another replacement?
You could try the new one. I mean,
I don't know. Before I would do that, I would probably I'd have to switch out engines though because high velocity rounds is still a good one, but I wouldn't be able to use strike system because of the projectile speed thingy. So at that point, I would have to probably go down to speed system. I'll lose a little bit more speed, but then I can put high velocity rounds on here. Which that really cranks your
gets the
normal damage up, but you lose like 500% almost on your building damage.
Mm-hmm.
So I would probably still really go with siege targeting if it was me. And people in the chat, you can feel free to chime in here at any time with anything that you're thinking about. Cuddle's like, well, I'm not saying anything. You already said all my ideas are shit.
well, and there is, I hate to say we do. I know the critical hits on the new specials seems low, but I just haven't seen it in action. So I can't totally rule out using that. I'm not sure. I just haven't seen it.
With this build, what's your reload?
That's the downside of this because the only reload I'm getting is from my skull rank.
Yeah. Do you mind just so I can see take off the Hyper 30 and put on auto loader?
Sure, I can do that for you. You want 3?
Yeah, that's what I got.
Here, let me do something that might make this a little better for you. Oh shit! Hang on, 1 second. I forget how you do this. Oh, there you go. Is that it? No, that's not it. How do you get out of full screen without having to close this out? Because that's what I definitely don't want to do that. Escape. That'll do it. Durr. Let's see if I can get this thing to pop up. That's why we have a handy dandy reload calculator.
Nice.
So just your rank on the, because the base reload of that weapon is 4.2 or is it 4.8?
Seems like it was an 8.
Yeah, 4.8. Oops. Durr. Yeah, you're looking without any reload specials. You're looking at you're going to fire every 1.2 seconds. Now the drum reloader added what 75, I think, 75% reload. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which would take you down to 0.68, which would almost cut your reload in half, but you're going to be losing speed. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's a tough one there.
Now, if you put auto loader on, let's see, what's my reload at right now?
136, right?
136. You're still at 1 point. You're still only at 0.5. So actually, you're only getting an extra what 0.18 over top of the drum reloader.
Yeah. Wow.
So yeah, I don't know, dude. It's a tough call. It's like a lot of it's going to come down to once we see the thing, how important speed's going to be. The speed is going to be a really, really big factor. I'm still thinking I would think Hyper 30 would be the best. If speed is not as big of a factor as what I'm thinking it might be, then I'm almost thinking drum reloader is probably better. Yeah. Because you're not getting, I mean, you're still getting pretty close to the reload that you get with Auto Loader 3, plus you get the extra ballistic damage, which, pumps your base number up some.
Is there any stackable reloading specials?
I really don't know. I know Drum Reloader doesn't stack with Auto Loader.
I was just hoping that there would be something, because having that 36% on the drum reloader is nice, but if you could boost the reload and still have that damage boost, that'd be worth consideration. I just don't know.
I mean, you can maybe put Auto Loader 4 on. That looks like, well, no, never mind. I'm on the wrong thing. But, like, what would you take off, though?
Probably
the stack with drum loaders.
Just for numbers, probably just the siege targeting at first, because
I think that would be a terrible mistake.
Well, here's what the reason I think that is, because usually the buildings are the lowest damage anyway, unless it's just a complete flip flop. Because if you're, most targets, like the buildings, crumble easy and the turrets take forever. So,
but the turrets count as buildings.
Oh, yeah.
When it comes into building damage.
Oh yeah, I guess you're right. I was just thinking there was a turret damage while I mentioned building damage.
Right.
Overcomplicating it.
Right. Yeah. So I think getting rid of siege target would be a huge mistake in my opinion.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe this is probably what I would lean to, unless I discover that the speed is going to be really, really super important. Then I might go with Hyper 30 there instead. So I don't know. What do you think, chat? You guys think this looks good? Do you think it looks bad? What do you think? Give us some input. While we're waiting to see if anybody in chat wants to give us any input, what else do we need? Oh yeah, one important thing to note, that to get 5 eradicators in your fleet, you are going to have to upgrade your dock. So make sure if you haven't started that, you start that as soon as possible.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, Cuttlefish wanted to know if you can fit AL3 with weight.
Yeah, we already did that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just reading it. Okay.
Yeah, that was when we put that. AL3 is auto loader.
All right, good deal.
Yeah, we had that on just a minute ago. So I don't know. Like I said, this is kind of sort of what I'm leaning towards. I tend to like. I always tell people. People are like, "Well, we haven't seen the target. We have no idea what to put on." I'm like, "Well, yeah, while you haven't seen the target, you do know, like, what kind of damage the silo does itself. You know, so we know that siege silo does radioactive and ballistic. So you build around the silo, and then once you see the target, then you can tweak for the target. But first thing you want to do is build for the silo. I mean, generally your choices are kind of almost predefined for you a lot of times because you know, okay, well, obviously you're going to want the new hull, obviously you're going to want the new weapon. 9 times out of 10, you're going to want the new special. I don't know that I myself am going to use the new special this time around, but so I don't know. Nobody in chat really seems to be having any good or bad things to say about it. They're just kind of like, okay. So.
All right. Just to see what we can get it at. Can you switch the armor special and all armors to ballistics, just to see what we can get that number to? Like, just
what
say
the armor? Oh, the alloy.
Yeah, just switch it all. Just because a lot of times some of them are like real. I've noticed some targets are heavy in one damage type, and then the others like more of a secondary damage. And then I've seen some where it's like half and half. But I just wondered like how high can we?
Do you want to go with the armor being all ballistic too?
Yeah, just for lower players. Like if they don't have any of the new stuff or can't get anything, like what can they do the level 5C or something?
While you're doing that, I'm gonna
the D5C.
Yeah, but I'd imagine if they can get the hull.
Yeah, I was gonna say lower players aren't going to be able to get the hull probably. So
without they might.
for the gun,
yeah, like even putting the D5Cs on, it didn't take me above 98%.
Yeah, see, I figured it'd be more than that, but oh well. Don't build that. I was just checking.
And again, don't be putting these armors on because, like I said, I'm sure we're going to get better armors in the FM. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of what I'm leaning towards. And yeah, Cuddle says he's worried about my turn speed. I am a little bit too, but I will say from the video I saw that they had put up, like giving us a little sneak peek at the target, it didn't seem like there was any tight turning really involved. It was all kind of like go in a straight line and gradual turn as you were going around the big island or whatever. So
maybe with the directional turrets possibly, but from what I saw, that had a visual indicator of where it was going to fire. I don't know if that's intentional or not, but it's just how you set up on the target. You can get around it probably.
And of course, that turn speed that we're seeing, the 32 turn speed, that's not counting being skull ranked, which, as we all know, being skull ranked, you get better turn speed. So my turn speed once I'm ranked would be higher than that anyway.
I'm over live checking the damage in the lightened 110, and have to clearly see it did not lighten for my build.
Now you got me curious. You're probably going to make me spend some coin, you bastard.
I did it because I was curious. I spent the coin because I really was wanting to see it.
How much time do I have left on this repair?
Maybe they just had a different time.
I'm going to spend 4 coins. I hate you, Ross.
Well, I mean, in all honesty, I wanted to let the community know.
Yeah, it's funny. My wife, see, I don't get paid till tomorrow, and she got paid this week. I was like, "Give me $15." She's like, "For what?" She knew exactly like when I said 15. I was like, "For Facebook cards." She's like, "Hell no." She's like, "I was over your shoulder reading some of the stuff." She's like, "Don't look like anybody's happy." I was like, "Well, not really." And she's like, "Well, nah." She's like, "You get paid tomorrow. You can waste your money if you want. You ain't wasting mine."
Well, I mean, yeah, I'll agree the damage is high, but I mean, as long as there's people who are gonna coin 1 billion points within the first hour or two of the raid, we're not gonna see that change, and that's the sad truth of it.
No, I agree. We created, in a way, we put this benchmark that high, so why wouldn't? I mean, if you can get, hey, you know what? If I could sell something for that much, I'm going to try to. That's all I had to say. So we're our own worst enemy many times in this game.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I've said that for years, and I catch a lot of flack for it, but it's the truth.
I even said we. I mean, I'm including myself in that whole statement. Even I have been at times. I've contributed to the push, the move forward, because I take advantage of those blitz features at times because I don't want to do the in-time engagement. But I do believe that pushes the benchmark further for those that aren't willing to do that, and I know that, and so I hope that we all see that.
And there's a lot of things in this raid that I could use or would like to have, but a lot of players they get to a point in any game, whether it's Call of Duty or Fortnite or whatever, to where it kind of becomes an addiction. They feel like they got to have everything, and I just play this game for fun. So if I get it, I get it. If I don't, I don't. I'll scrap my way through the best I can. That's all I can do. So, that's something that the marketing team don't realize. Of course they want to sell something, and I get it, but at the end of the day, some people have good weeks, good months. Some people have bad weeks and bad months. So during that time, just don't stress out if you can't get anything. Just get what you can, and that's it. Don't because at a certain point, the player becomes the greedy one, not the company. And I don't want to be the greedy player. I can survive just having fun, doing what I can.
Yeah, I mean, it's very easy to tell who the greedy players are. All you gotta do is look at the leaderboards. Oh man, I tell you, like a minute never seems to take so long as when you're waiting for it to tick by on a repair during a live stream. Let me tell you. So, what do you guys think of the? You guys did or didn't like the Bat Ray fleet that Kick sent out?
The one I got has the wrong special, I think. You know, it has the hydroflow.
No, actually, I got to looking at that, and I did get the same special there that you did. So it seemed like
Yeah.
the only thing they did was flopped out the. So apparently, I was mistaken on what special was on there.
So if it had the atomizer, it would be a lot better, a hell of a lot better. But I don't know why they did that.
Yeah, but I mean, Christ, dude. Even if people aren't happy with the fleet itself, I mean, you got a Gale, you got 5 Gale 4s, you got 5 anti-cormorants, you got 5 Hyper 30s just from scrapping this crap,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the components on it are amazing. In all honesty, look at all the limited equipment and the price tag that goes along with those pieces. So it's truly it's huge for all, whether you need it or not. Everybody is going to need the Hyper 30s, and if you say you don't, then you're not paying attention to the game lately. You do, and those carry a 25 million a piece price tag. That's huge.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's like 100 million raid points right off the bat, I guess. If you really want to be truthful, or more, you know.
Okay, and then your limited tech, your antis on that hull. Those are all amazing, and they aren't cheap, and they're current. Those are all. I mean, those are not leftovers. So I'm very pleased with the components on the hull. I'm not thrilled with the build overall because let's just say everybody chooses to do their own different. We've always have deviated from the basic kickside build. I don't believe that that's anything new. I believe that the fleet does perform very well in the map targets. I don't know. I haven't tested it in any event raid targets, but I did test the fleet out in the SSRB, and it gives those players that weren't able to do uranium to roll for crews, which has a huge impact in the game, a huge step up in my opinion, just a huge one. So it's a plus on to have those that got the error with the release when it occurred, and I think it's just a plus to the community and those all that needed it, those that didn't have a fleet to do this or to get uranium moving forward. It's huge. Huge.
And before anybody says it, yes, I did put a grease monkey on because that was my basis for comparison. Because my first 110s that I did earlier today, I was running a grease monkey, so I have to run the exact same crew to get a fair baseline comparison.
I just hope now that everybody's got bats that they don't go back and tweak the map targets.
Oh, well, they shouldn't because the map targets will be changing in probably about a month anyway. So,
but what I noticed in running mine, like I ran my build in a 108, and the damage in this raid's pretty high, but it performed the best. And then I ran the Hyper 30 fleet that was the gift in a 104, and it took about the same damage as my fleet did in the 108. So then I brought it back and ever so damaged, and I put my Brennis in and then hit a 106 and barely made it out. So that's how I ended up with like 14 hours of repair for 3 targets.
kill the damn subs, you son of a bitch. There you go. I'm really not fond of the fact that the way killing certain boats now triggers the other fleets, as opposed to before you had to trigger them manually. Now they trigger like automatically after you kill certain stuff. Not a fan of that. Boy, I think I like literally ran right into that ice field as opposed to trying to get away from it.
You're doing much better than me.
I just wish I could buy repair tokens, like, because, you know, a lot of times in the beginning of raids, I'll make mistakes, you know, and I can't get mad at the company for that. But if I get a little bit of points, it'd be nice to, you know, purchase up to, like, I don't know, 12 to 24 hours of repair tokens to uh, for the players who don't coin, who have lag issues or crash, or, you know, and don't feel like putting in the damn ticket or wasting the time to do it, or the company's time. And, you know, let me get an hour repair token so I can, like, get back out there. It's not going to get me all the way through the raid, but it could save my ass in a couple uh, non-ideal situations that we all have.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's be honest. They could like totally give everybody 6 free 1 hour repair tokens at the beginning of the raid, and still not going to see you the whole way through the raid.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my damage is looking identical to what it was this morning. I don't think there's been any adjustment whatsoever.
Well, I'm glad that it wasn't just me.
Anyway, that being said, I think we're going to call it here for the time being. I'll probably dock this, put a coin on my flag, and then go do a 108. But yeah, we're going to call it here, I think. I think we're good. Thanks, everybody, for coming out and spending some time with us, watching the show. Give us a thumbs up and subscribe, and get your friends over to the page if they're not there already. And we appreciate you. And we will see you on Saturday when we do the open mic and talk about the raid, and probably talk about the upcoming siege cycle, and maybe go over some maybe other various ideas for eradicators perhaps. But thanks for coming out, and we'll see you Saturday. Later, guys.
Good night.
Have a good one.
Now I just got to find the correct tab for the hangout. I think it's this one. There we go. Stop broadcast.